Hello to everyone. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Valensas Balsevicius. I'm structural engineer and application engineer working in AGACAD, and I would like to test if the sound is okay. And do you see my screen? The screen now should show the photo of mine and the name of webinar. So if you see the screen, please raise your hands. Just click on the image of a raised hand so I can see that the sound is okay and the screen is okay. Okay, I see few hands. So if you will see something wrong, just drop me a message to the questions tab. And if you have any questions about the product, about the webinar, so you can write it there, and I will try to answer them in the end of the webinar. Okay, so I will minimize this one. Okay, I got the message that the sound is okay. Okay, so I will minimize my tool, and yeah, we can begin. Okay, so as I said, my name is Valensas Balsevicius. I'm a structural engineer and application engineer in AGACAD, and today I will talk about Smart Details solution, and the name of webinar is easier detailing in Revit models. So we will see how we can make it easier. So maybe most of you know our company, but still I will say that we create solutions for increase speed of modeling for engineers according to the experience of the most advanced users of our customers. And we are operating since 1988, and we are professional developers of BIM software and add-ons for Revit. We have more than 8,000 users across the world, more than 120 countries, and our mission is to reduce stress to the users, so we try to eliminate tasks which do not create value. And today I will talk about Smart Details, the Revit plugin, which inserts details according to the rules defined in the tool configuration window. So we can insert cuts, voids, and details using this tool. And you'll learn how to prepare configurations and define rules. So I will explain a bit about the configuration window, and yeah, you will see how then these details are inserted, and I will just run through the examples. I thought it might be interesting to see where the smart details can help you to model your elements. So I will run through the walls and beams, precast elements, wood framing elements, some pipe fixings, and for the curtain framing elements. So this will be examples where you can see the usage of this tool. This is the window for our tools, but I will talk in the end of the session about our tools and maybe more about how to get them. But now let's talk about Smart Details on the Revit window. So you should see the Revit window now. I will check this. Yeah, it should be set to this, and you should see the Revit window with some walls. And yeah, so if everything is fine, I will continue now. Okay, I have a sample project here. You will see a few walls, divided walls, like panels of precast elements, and you will see here walls with details inserted. So Smart Details can insert details like this, distribute them according to the rules. Okay, so how does it work and where can we find this? After you install the tools for BIM doc, this is our tool where you can install and manage all of our tools if necessary. You can find all of the tools in the store tab, and okay, I already did that, so I have my smart details icon here. I select it and I have all the commands, available commands over here. Or I can switch to the ribbon version, so I will find all the commands also here. I will switch this off now. And the help page, this one is important to start using this, because you can find some webinars over here, uploaded some information on how to use this product, and you will find the sample project which you can download and overview some configurations and family, how they were created, how elements were distributed, and so on. So you can use this as a help material. Okay, so yeah, all the commands from Smart Details. Now we have tab for configuration, so this is configuration window and the file location, so it means that configurations are located in your computer, not associated to your project. Here is commands for create and modify details, to insert them, to modify. Here are different commands to delete details, and some commands to insert gravity points. So I will talk about this later. Okay, so first of all, you have to define configurations. How and what will be inserted. So I will hit now on configurations. Okay. Yeah, and configuration window is open now. So Smart Details works with such element categories, Revit categories. So it works with walls, parts, structural framing elements, line-based generic models, and curtain panels. So it means that if you want to insert details to the faces of the column, it's not available still. Now it works with these categories, so keep it in mind. Yeah, okay. The details which you can use to insert on the main element are maybe generic model category, structural connections category, or structural framing category, and all of these elements might be line-based elements and point-based, face-based elements. So this is limitations and what you should know before you start modeling something. So we have one main element and we insert details on this element, so we can get something like this. Okay, so I will take wall category and I have this configuration name, so I can save different configurations and then use them on the project. So okay, I have this configuration, and here on the left side you can see the tab where you can select rules for the elements on different faces. So for example, first one is a line-based element on the side face of wall or beam or any other available element, and this one is line based on the end faces, and so on. You can read the names over here, and you can define 4 different rules for each of the side and the category over here. So for the line based on side faces, I have 4 tabs, 4 rules which I can use to insert my elements. So you see this green light, so it means there is an element marked as to be inserted and the family is selected, so we have a green light. If I will switch it off, this will be the orange, or if I will not select, if it will be red. So it just helps easier to understand what is happening here. And we don't have any details over here. So okay, about the insertion. So these are the rules window, where we can select the family, the type of detail we will use. So this is cut family I have created, and if you want to overview these families, if you are not satisfied with the text information, you can open family browser and you can find here more information about families in your project. Okay, so now I have a family selected, and I switched this on to insert detail, and I have here different possibilities to flip this element by X, by Y axis, and to flip work plane. I can flip by project or tab by project, so it will be oriented according to the project, not the family of the detail, and so on. More information is available in our blogs or help files. So now I choose the side where I want to insert this detail, on the right side or left or on both sides. I can define the layout in different directions. So if this image represents the side face of the element, so you can understand these these constraints over here. What do they mean? So the start offset is like 50 millimeters set up here. If I will select to insert this line-based element by start and end and fixed number, so it will be just one long element across the main element. Okay, so this is the array axis, so it means we can distribute elements in other direction on the face. And again, we have start and end offset according to the picture. We can define the rule for this, and depends on the layout direction. It depends what rules we have here. So okay, I have selected maximum spacing and 450 millimeters to distribute this element, and that's all. That's it. I have this element. Okay, maybe it should be this one. Yeah, this is the reveal on the outside face of the wall. Okay, and here I don't have any details inserted. And detail priority, why this is the name, this kind of name, because first of all, the detail will be inserted in this tab, and then in this tab, and then in this tab. So it may have influence if I will insert cut in the first tab, and if I will insert plate on the second tab. So it will find new reference face according to the cut, to the new cut made in the host element. Okay, so next, let's overlook this configuration. You see on the ends I have just a vertical cut on one side, and I have the same cut on the other side, but I have flipped this family because it's just mirrored according to the x-axis. So I can use this one family to cut both sides of my element. Again, on the top I want to insert a rectangular cut, line-based family with side offset from the center of the wall. I will move it a bit to the side. Again, this detail will not be inserted. And yeah, the fillet on the top again. of a wall. Here I don't have any elements inserted, 0 elements, and now I have loops inserted as a point-based elements on these end faces with rules with maximum spacing, with start of set value, and so on. So I have defined this, and I have at the bottom I have the grout filling tube. So here is additional some values entered, because you can see here is the tab for layout correction by elements. So we can choose here to select if insert element or should we not insert element. Like in this case, you can see in the picture below that if the minimal solid depth will not be 950 millimeters, this element will not be inserted. So I can enter limitations here and avoid insertion these elements in the wrong places. So it could be we can search for the faces, or we can search for the elements, like what kind of elements are crossing our main element, and then we can define rules how and what should be inserted. So there are some additional it adds flexibility, so you will see it in action later. Maybe it will be more clear. And on the top I will insert again another detail with looking for the faces bottom by own faces, and looking for the solid bigger than 900 millimeters. So we will use this one. Okay, so my configurations are done, and I can use this configuration to insert elements. So I will cancel this, and I will go now to the to the project and try this on how it will work. Okay, maybe I will switch to this one. And I will select one of the walls, and I will just select command insert details, and I'll select this configuration I was showing you before, and I will just hit on insert details, and now you see these reveals are inserted on the outside face of my wall panel. Then top cut of rectangular element inserted, and the cuts on the sides inserted. And other elements are inserted. It just somehow takes more time than I expected, but okay, let's just see. It should insert all of my details, and we will have this sandwich panel as the same as the previous, the ones I modeled before. Okay, I have the view again. So you see that let's say I have windows in my panel, and I have less than less solid part of a wall in some areas, so my bottom tubes should be removed in these places. Okay, we see the bottom tubes inserted, and the one is missing because there is not enough space in this place under the window, so it was not inserted. Okay. Okay, a few more seconds. I believe it will insert them. Maybe it's because of live presentation, as it has some influence, but we will see. So I will show this one, and I will go through the other elements, and we will just overview all the examples and all the possibilities how to use this tool. And yeah, so it looks like something is over. Yeah, okay, finally. Somehow it took much more time than usually, but anyway, we have these elements now inserted. As you can see, here is not enough of solid wall part, so we don't have elements, and we have all of these loops inserted. We have maybe we can just go and take a look how it was inserted. We have these reveals distributed along the face, and we have this rectangular opening, and we have this, let's say, fillet okay, on the top inserted also. And you can have different configurations, like without what kind of details you use in your connections of your elements, because you might be using one manufacturer and the other, so you just create the detail with as much as detailed as you need, and you use them for your smart details. Let's say I will use to insert details with different configuration for these massive walls, let's say. So we will see. I hope it will be quicker. Alright, so now it's okay, and we have okay, so we have these fixing points, we have some hosted details on these elements, and you can apply these configurations to all of the panels you need. Okay, maybe I will switch to the other project, and yeah, this one. So let's see the other possibilities here, just how it works. I will select this wall, and I will select insert details now, and let's just distribute connection angles on top of a wall to connect, let's say, these trusses with connection details on top of a wall. So we just use configuration, which is searching. If I will modify these details, you will see that in this configuration I had just placed these connection angles on top, searching for the structural framing element, and searching for this kind of structural framing element with searching distance like this, and I just insert this detail in the intersection point of the wall and the framing element. So we can use it like here, and we can also place details on the framing elements. So if I will if I will select this configuration, and I will insert again details, I can have these elements in the intersection with rafters, and I can say let's insert a few more details. If I will select these rafters, and I will select the other configuration, which again has some rules to insert details again with searching for the intersecting structural framing elements, and we just insert this connection details. Let's say maybe for the wooden it's not very common, maybe we will nail them, but let's say for the steel beams and for the steel purlins we can definitely use this kind of functionality. If I will select this one, we can just select the other one, and we have details over here now. We have also what we can also insert, let's say 3 of these, and insert this kind. So I just run through the through my configuration, so you can just overlook and just evaluate, maybe get ideas how to use this and where you can use this in your practice, and so on. Let's say now I have inserted some kind of void element at the end of a rafter, right? And every details you insert to the element, every element now has the detail configuration value written into this element, and even if I will send you this file, you can just select this element, click on modify details, and save it over here, so you will have this configuration in your computer even if you don't have it in the beginning, because by default you have no configurations in the beginning after installation. And it's important that these details are can be assigned for the instance of element. Let's say if I will select this one, and if I will click on modify, and let's say I will insert rafter end cut on the top, I will select to insert this element on the top of this one, and I will insert at the start point of my rafter, and I guess that's it. So if I will save it, it will be saved to the configuration, but I can just update, so it will be only for this element. Sorry, I see that I have inserted wrong, so I can just select modify, and I know that I have to flip this element by y-axis, so it will be now like this. Now it's okay, and now I can just save this configuration if I need to. And then again, so you see this rafter has configuration with this name, and this rafter also has the same configuration name, but it has different details on it. So we can distribute, let's say these elements are the same and this one has only one different detail or few different details, so we can just modify details for this element without changing configuration or without creating new configurations. And so we can modify and add some details, and we can, let's say if we just need some additional details, let's say we can define a rule for all of these details, but we also need one more over here, so we can just copy it, so this will be just a simple detail on this host element, and it will be also related to this element, but it's much easier than we can just copy them to place with standard Revit commands. And I want to mention also these delete commands. They are different because this first command, it deletes all the smart details. which was created with smart details. Let's say if I will delete these, so it will delete all the elements which was created by using rules, and this one was created manually because I just copy it, so it was not deleted. If I use command delete all details, so it will delete all of these manual and all of these defined by rules. And delete selected, so if I will select this one, and if I will delete selected, so only one rule will be deleted for this element, but this one was left untouched. So that also gives more flexibility, you know, to handle your projects, your different elements, because they will be different. Even if we can define a lot of by rules, we will definitely need some manual work anyway. So okay, maybe I will switch to the other project now, to the precast element, and again we will see some functionality here. So yeah, the same. Let's say if I will select these hollow core slabs, and if I will insert details here, if I will select the configuration, this one, and I will insert. So orientation of these slabs are different, so half of them will be wrong and half of them will be right. So I can create two different rules, let's say one rule for these and one rule for these, to flip these elements, but I think it's much easier just to select these elements, click on modify, go to the element, this one, I will switch this, and I will select this one, and now all these elements are not switched and they are in the right position for the anchoring. Let's say if I will select this, let's say these beams, let's say I will also insert details to these beams, insert details, and I have here configuration for the, yeah, like this. And let's see, now we will insert some holes in the end of my beams, and I will insert some holes for the anchoring of my hollow core slabs for the horizontal diagram to create, right? And so we need something. Okay, so I have inserted these here. So you can also define just voids to be inserted at the ends of the hollow core slabs if you need to. You can modify these families to have rods inserted, some rebars inserted. You can also cut this beam and insert some anchoring over here. So this is how it looks. Our two beams, let's say I have used the same rule and I have inserted details into these different beams, and the rule is again the same, just to search for the, let's say to search for the hollow core slabs and place this detail in the place of the intersection with hollow core slabs. And this one is just to insert cut on the top and with the start of set values and with a fixed number, so two of these details are inserted. So we have one over here and the other one on the other side. And how did I make this to use the same details for the different families? So maybe it will be more visual to demonstrate this one. So I would like to talk about important feature of the smart details is that we can read values from the host elements and use them into the in our details. So I will show you, like, we have two different widths 3D slabs here, and they have this parameter b value, so it's like 2 meters and a half almost, and this one is much smaller, so we have 1 meter 700 millimeters. So then I will insert details now. I will select to insert my details, yeah, this one, and if I will select to insert now, and watch how it changes. Now the detail is inserted and then adapted to the width of my beam. So we can use smart details for this. You can insert the same detail, the same command, just with one click to the two different elements. And how can we do this? We can, if I will select this detail, you see this value is the same taken from this host element, and this detail has this value of the same as this element. And how it was done, it was just in the detail family, this dimension parameter was given the same name as it is for the host element, just only this great symbol in the beginning. But these definitions are how to create such a smart family you can find in the help files, so you can also look more into the details how to create such a family. But the main idea is that you can use this tool to take values from your host element or from even the element to which it connects. Let's say, okay, I will do like this. I will delete these elements and I will show you how it works. We have different pipes over here, and we have different distance from the supporting beam to the pipe. Okay, but I will use only one configuration and only one family over here. So I will insert details. I will select these two beams and I will select insert details and pipes configuration, and if I will edit it, you can see that I have selected to insert, to search for vertically for the elements to the top, and search for the pipes of this kind of pipes and the searching distance, and I will insert this detail. So okay, insert detail. And you see that these details, they are the same, but they have different values over here. So we have this special parameter which we can use to search for the elements above. So it was taken from the bottom of my beam to the bottom of my pipe. We just took this value from the model, so we don't need to define it. So we have these fixing elements in the place we need. Let's say here I have this value much bigger distance to than here. Okay, and the diameter also, it was taken from the pipe, so I don't need to adjust these elements. These are just parameters defined in the family of this element. So it's really much easier to work with this. Yeah, let's see, over here these are different pipes, and I will insert them, so I don't need to think about it, and I just have to create this kind of family. Okay, so what else? Yep. Okay, these beams and walls, and yeah, another one. Let's say I will switch to the curtain uh, file for the curtain walls. And curtain walls you can create with Revit or with our solution for the metal framing, so it will be also much easier. But when you create all these main elements, the mullions and the transom elements and glass holders and covers, so when you create them, you still need to insert some fixing bolts, let's say like this, if you want to make it, of course, to the detail level. You need to distribute these gasket elements along each of the elements. So to do this manually with Revit, it will take a lot of time, and that's why Smart Details comes in handy here. But yeah, we can take a look what we want to create now. What I want to create is to insert some details to this glass holder. So I want to cut here, I want to add this anchor, and I want to have these gaskets on the other side of this glass holder. So I can do it like this, like previously. So I just select the element and I insert details, and that's okay. I select the appropriate configuration, yeah, this one, and if I will insert them, you will see that these details are inserted. But when we have a lot of types of elements in the project, let's say now if I want to insert these details, I have to select this one by one and select insert details and select one configuration, and then I have to select these elements and insert details and select configurations. But in the last version of Smart Details we added functionality that in each of the element you can have this Smart Detail configuration parameter, which can be found in the parameter file provided with Smart Details installation, and you can just enter the name of configuration. So when you draw these elements, when you model these elements, you don't need to, that this always has these additional anchors or whatever, and you can just write these configuration names to these elements, and you don't need then to insert manually these details. You can select elements with different configuration, and use auto insert functionality. So auto insert means that it finds the configuration name in the element, and it uses this configuration to insert details. So you don't need to manually define for the element which configuration it should use. You can just have this parameter inside of your framing element, let's say. It can be saved in your gallery, families, and so on. So now you see we have all these details inserted, so we don't need to do this manually. So this is also very important functionality, because like in this case, in the working with curtain walls, you have to create a lot of configurations and different options. Okay, so I think that's it. That's what I wanted to show you with Smart Details on the Revit, how it works. And I will just say a few words about our company and products for the ending, and if you have questions I will answer them after that. So okay, so you see here all of our tools which we create. So you will see that we have solutions for map engineers, we have solutions for the managers to control the documentation and information of the elements in the project. So it's very powerful solution. And then we have sustainable design tools. We have smart browser, so it helps a lot to work with families, to add parameters, add shared parameters to all the families in your library at once, in some similar way like in Excel. Then we have solutions for wood framing, so we can quickly insert rafters, trusses, and walls and floors and so on. And the same for the metal framing, to model elements, to prepare drawings, and to export to CNC machines. Then we have smart assemblies. So smart assemblies works well with smart details because they have a principal idea, the same idea to have one main element and additional details inserted. So smart assemblies creates sharp drawings, and smart details it creates model. It lets you easier to create model, and smart assemblies places automatic dimensions and schedules and so on. And cut opening tool is to cut openings in different parts of your model, and we have small tools for that, like to insert Excel into your Revit, to sort elements automatically according to the rules, some quick insertion of dimensions, work with legends, and some other projects which description you can find on our webpage. So if you want to try our solutions, you can just go to our web page and download these tools for BIM doc, and you will find it in our web page, and just download it, and you can see these 4 tabs, and you can find on the store all the elements, all the tools available. You can just install and get the 40 days trial. Okay, so that's it. That's the final words. Just like we keep our promise to support BIM industry all over the market and create solutions for us all. And if you have questions, if you have need of support, if you start trial, and if you have questions, you can't achieve what you want, you can always just contact us by email, writing to the support AGACAD, or to, let's say, for smart details, you can write directly to me. Yeah, this video webinar is recorded, and it will be available later on. You will have a link of it. Yeah, so thank you for attention, and now I will just open, maybe you have any questions.